Okay, so what we're going to learn here for the gas exchange system for today's lesson, we are going to the quite general in terms of the distributions, how the air actually enter, okay, into our first part, the trachea. I mean the nose first, definitely the nose. After that, trachea. From the trachea, how to go to bronchi, and what are the parts of the gas exchange system we are going to look at. Okay, so first of all, we look at this mammalian gas exchange system. So this system is very important because we know that we have the circulatory system, which is our cardiovascular system, which helps us to transport oxygen and CO2. But how we get the oxygen? From our skin? No, our skin is not the gas exchange system. Okay, not like amphibian. Correct or not? Okay, so we have to connect this cardiovascular system with the atmosphere. So the one that actually helps us is a gas exchange system. Okay, if no, we won't be able to get sufficient oxygen and we won't be able to get rid of CO2. So in order to do this, now our gas exchange system must have certain adaptation, or we call it features, to help us, okay, to carry out this particular function. So one of these, we need to clean and warm the air that enter during your inhalation. Are you clear? Okay. So because the air, now we do know that something that you can't see it here doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Right? Look at the chair beside you. You didn't see anything, right? But it's a lot of things there. The bacteria, viruses. We hope that no COVID. Okay? We hope that no COVID virus here. Right? Right. So we won't see it doesn't mean that it won't exist. So means that whatever air we breathe it in, we need to do the cleaning and need to warm the air. So why we need to clean the air? Yeah, why we need to clean the air? So the air that enter, if we don't clean it, for example, the dust, okay, the pollens, those items that enter into our lung, it's going to deposit inside our lung. If this dust deposited inside our lung, then it's going to decrease the efficiency of a lung to carry out gas exchange. Are you clear? Okay, so it's something like your aircon system, right? You have the filter, right? So to filter out the dust, okay, the pollens, the dust. So same goes to our gas exchange system. First thing, we need to clean. And why we want to warm the air? Yeah? Maintain temperature. So again, we do have a lot, particularly in our nostril. We have a lot of blood vessel, blood capillary, okay, to help to moist the air as well as to warm the air. This is very, very important because we do know that surrounding air temperature actually lower. And our body temperature is around about 37 degrees Celsius. What will happen here is there is a difference in this temperature. So we need to actually equilibrate the temperature first. Are you clear? And higher temperature means that the rate of diffusion will be higher. Still remember, we learned in chapter 2 when I talk about the diffusions of the gases across this gas exchange surface, because diffusion actually depends on the temperature, the kinetic energy. Okay, so that's why first we need to cleanse and warm the air. Second, we do also need to increase the rate of gas exchange, increase the rate of diffusion. So we need to increase the surface area. So which part of our gas exchange system increase the surface area? The alveoli. Okay, the alveoli. Say right down. Okay, for the to maximize the surface area, we need the alveoli. Okay, and also we need to minimize the distance for this diffusion. Always remember, we do want to have a short diffusion distance. Correct or not? So when the diffusion distance is short, then we will be able to have high rates of gas exchange. Correct or not? You try to imagine that you want to run already, then the gas exchange is so slow. Then you may not be able to get sufficient oxygen. Okay, and you won't be able to get rid of CO2. And we do know that if you can't get rid of CO2, CO2 actually will cause acidity in our blood. Correct or not? Okay, because of the conversions of. So remember the Bohr effect, the CO2 with water to form carbonic acid, which is unstable, that dissociate into the protons and bicarbonate ion. So means that it's too much and we can't get rid of them. At the end, we don't have enough hemoglobin to form hemoglobinic acid. The H plus will stay inside a red blood cell and cause the acidity, okay, decrease the pH. Okay, So who do this? Minimize. How we can minimize the distance for the diffusion? Then always remember, for the exchange, we always use one type of epithelium. Which kind of epithelium? Very thin, very flat cells, squamous epithelium, like capillary squamous epithelium. But capillary, we give them a special name called endothelium. Okay? And how we maintain the adequate gradient for this diffusion? Because we do know that diffusion depends on the concentration gradient. The steeper the concentration gradient, the better, the faster, the higher the rates of the diffusion. So how we can maintain this? Constantly we carry out ventilation. We breathe in the air, breathe out the air. When we breathe in the air contains high partial pressure O2. And then our blood flow, our blood won't stop at the lung for long. It continues to flow. So means that when the blood enters into the lung, the deoxygenated blood, you're going to take together with the oxygen, and then they won't stay there. It will stay there, it will reach the dynamic equilibrium, but our blood won't stay there for long. After they have taken these oxygens, what they do? They're going to continue to enter into the pulmonary veins and then reach our heart. Can you see that? So this is how we can maintain the adequate gradient for this diffusion. Clear? Okay, so highlights number 2. This is very, very important when it comes to the exam questions. Always ask about this, how our gas exchange system can help or is adapted to carry out gas exchange. Okay, so first, always remember, we carry out the cleaning and the warming onto the gas that we inhale in. Okay, second, we want to maximize the surface area so that the rate of the gas exchange can be increased. Third, we also want to minimize the distance for diffusion. No point you have a large surface area, but diffusion distance is long. Are you clear? Okay, so work together. We maximize the surface area, we minimize the distance for the diffusion. And last, we also know that diffusion is passive process. So it means that we won't be able to against the concentration gradient or partial pressure gradient confirm. Okay, so in order to have the process continuously, then we need to maintain a steep partial pressure gradient. And always remember, for the partial pressure gradient, always remember, for partial pressure gradient, okay, for gas exchange, we always refer to the partial pressure gradient. Okay, and we always compare partial pressure gradients as a partial pressure of oxygen to partial pressure oxygen in 2 different parts. For example, alveoli and also the capillary. Okay, okay, so in mammal, in order to achieve this gas exchange system, we do need to have the windpipe, the piping system to connect. Are you clear? So this piping system, okay, will convey the air to the lung, which are located in the thoracic cavity. So where is the thoracic cavity? So if you look at your body, at the center here, we have one diaphragm. Diaphragm is the part that actually divides our cavity into 2 parts. Okay, so for those online, so this is a body. So we have the diaphragm. So diaphragm actually separates. Okay, the part with the lung is called thoracic cavity. Okay, so this one is abdominal cavity. So abdominal cavity where you can find your digestive system. Are you clear? Okay, so what you need to do now, so we have some lines, and in the empty line, try to figure out what are this gas exchange system, right? The name of those parts. Okay, stop recording, take 5 minutes. Yes, I see what you guys have done in this case. So you look at this, the air. So first part, you can see that the air, okay, enter from nose into the nasal cavity, and from a nasal cavity enter into the first structure here. So this structure is known as trachea. So how do you identify trachea? Very simple. Trachea only one, right? The main windpipe. And you can see that it's not smooth because of the cartilage, okay? Because of this incomplete C shape cartilage that we would learn it later. Okay, so the air enter into the trachea. So from a trachea, okay, then you can see that it branched into two. So this two is known as bronchus, okay, or bronchi. Bronchus is singular, bronchites are plural. Are you clear? Clear? Then this bronchus, okay, look like this. This bronchus start to branch even more, branches into a small channel here known as bronchiole. Known as bronchiole. So this bronchiole eventually will enter and end with this structure. So this structure is known as alveolus or alveolites. Okay, alveolus or alveolites. Okay, alveolus is singular, alveolites are plural. Okay, so it depends on how many we point to lah. So in this case, I point to two, so I label it as alveolites. Okay, so we have two sides of the lung. Okay, so again, we do have the right side. Always remember, when you see as a left, actually it's the right side of the person that you see. Clear enough? Okay, so therefore this is the right lung, and other side is the left lung. So do you get it correct so far? Okay. So why we label those structure? We label those structure because we're going to learn them one by one. Okay, so we're going to learn about the nasal cavity. From nasal cavity, we're going to learn about trachea, and then bronchus, bronchiole, then alveoli. And we have to look at the tissue distribution as well. Okay, so we're going to learn this in detail in the later lesson. So in humans, the gas exchange surface definitely is alveolites, the singular alveolus. So the major organ in the gas exchange includes the respiratory tract, okay, or gas exchange tracts, okay, respiratory tract or gas exchange tract, where we're going to look at trachea, bronchus, and bronchiole, and also the gas exchange surface alveolus. Okay, so basically I've done for the introductions for the gas exchange system.